Christian Academy, and I'm Gracie Nichols.
I'm Olivia Valente.
And I'm Johanna, Vilarson.
And I'm Shea Holbrook.
Mount Dora Christian Academy is a school located in Mount Dora, Florida. We are a pre-K through 12th grade school with around 600 students. Our athletic department is well known throughout the state with state championship wins and Final Four appearances. At MDCA, the athletes are the people that most of the students look up to. At our school, the sports teams and clubs do not integrate as well as we hope they could. This impacts the culture in a negative way. Corinthians 12:12 through 26 talks about how even though we have different talents and interests, God does not want us to think of ourselves as more or less important than any other group and divide ourselves. He wants us to come together through both the good and the bad times. We hope to bring the students together to promote unity within the school. In order to have a positive impact on the culture at school, we looked at 3 areas we feel we can make improvements with: communication, information, and participation. In order to improve communication, we want to be able to identify the problems our students are facing. We want to know how our students think these problems can be solved. We want the students to be able to implement the solution. To improve the information, we want to improve on how information is shared. We wanted to find a better way for the students to be able to receive the information. For participation, we wanted to create better events that will bring the students together and create more school spirit.
In order to address the communication aspect, we are forming a group called the Captain Circle. It will be representatives from each club, sports team, or fine arts program at our school that will come together to discuss issues in the student body and their possible solutions. I have noticed that a major problem at our school is that our teams and clubs don't really interact as much as they should. The main goal of this Captain Circle will be to unify the many teams, clubs, and fine arts groups at our school. In the past, students have not had the opportunity to become leaders and have an active voice both on and off their teams. The circle will also give these students the opportunity to discuss problems that they see on their team and in the student body, and trust their elected captains to represent them at their meetings. I'm a runner, and my cross-country team is like my family. We do almost everything together, and I trust them more than most of my friends. If there's an issue at school, I feel most comfortable talking to them about it, and I know other teams and clubs feel the same way. Because of this, we decided that the captains on these teams and clubs would be the best people, to come together and discuss these issues, and then take their solutions back to their teams and implement them. In the past, we have tried to force large groups together, and it just did not work. Our plan this year is to use the existing chemistry and unity in our teams and clubs, and use the Captain Circle to bring them together as one student body. The captains will be able to discuss bringing the teams together, and like I said, bring those ideas back to their teams. At the meetings, coaches and sponsors will be present in order to see the dynamics and relationships on their teams. The coaches and sponsors will not run the meetings, but will be there to support the teams and ensure the solutions are followed through. In addition, our administration would see the issues and solutions in a different way because they would be coming from students, not other faculty members. They may have seen the issues before, but they will gain a new perspective because it is coming from their own students.
For information, we created MDCA News. MDCA News will be an alternative way to get the information out to our student body. This will spread the word throughout the school in an effective way. One thing we would like to change is how the information gets to the students at school. Right now, we get daily email announcements that very few people actually read, so our solution would be the news. MDCA News would be a different way to get the students informed about events coming up. It would be student-led and be shown on Mondays for the events coming up for the upcoming week. The news show would be for telling the students what sports are going on and off campus, school-wide events, the lunch menu, and there would be weekly highlights shown of the sports plays that deserve recognition. Some days there will be interviews of the students or staff for the extraordinary things that they've done for the school. We also want to incorporate a fun aspect, so there will either be a joke of the week or a skit to get the students to enjoy what they're watching and hopefully want to participate. We would like to incorporate a spiritual aspect into the news as well.
We are hoping MDCA News will have a positive spiritual impact at our school. Many times when students are asked to leave chapel, all they can think of is messing up in front of so many people. This thought can cause so much anxiety in people that they choose to never get their message out. And some really great speakers with really powerful and impactful messages don't speak because of this anxiety. We are hoping to alleviate that anxiety in this program. We feel like MDCA News will work well with our new chapel program. Chapel will be done for the first 20 minutes of first period, which also happens to be a very convenient time for this news program. We will show this about once a week, and we are hoping that more students will sign up to speak since this program will not be done in front of a live audience made up of their peers. but rather just them speaking their message out. And even if they mess up, they can start it over again and get their full message out there. When we do have student-led devotionals, then this news program would be our whole chapel. Our student-led chapels also seem to have the biggest impact on our student body, so we want this to be a good outlet that can positively impact every student involved.
For participation, we created the fifth quarter. This is a way to get the student body to come together and support the sports teams. It will encourage the students to come to the games and interact with one another. The fifth quarter is basically a get-together to hype up the students. As a cheerleader, I have noticed the attendance at games have been low. Or if people from the school show up, they thought they were too cool to cheer on their team. I remember at games, I saw the crowd of the other team cheering so loud and together, and I thought to myself, they have school spirit. Just the unity at the school made me want to bring that to ours. This event should grow school spirit at our school because our spirit is lacking. This event will be held after a game that is played against our biggest rivals. We will be hoping to have different sponsors from different churches nearby to be helping out with this event. We will also be serving food and drinks, and hopefully parents could help out with that. There will be also games and possible prizes to win. The fifth quarter would also allow students to have fellowship and have an opportunity to talk to those you haven't talked to. There will also be Devo held there. In the past, we used to have events like this one, but people wouldn't have known about it. But now we are trying to announce it through MDCA News in a new communicative way. Usually people don't check their emails at our school, but this news channel would tell us this event is going on. Obviously, this won't be happening on a Tuesday night, and it will be happening on a Friday, so people won't have the excuse for having school the next day or saying their homework is due tomorrow. This event should be a way to bring different people from different backgrounds together to cheer on each other.
In conclusion, we want to have a more positive impact on the culture of our school. We feel like there's a lack of involvement in our culture at school, and this is the main problem we wish to fix since so many relating factors are surrounded by our school culture. The community and culture in the school should be so built up that everyone has school spirit, everyone feels involved with one another, and everyone feels they're equally a part of and as important as any other person at our school. By increasing the interaction and communication among various sports and club leaders, we believe that will filter down to the teams and clubs, which will then encourage all students to interact with one another. We want more unity, and we think that having our students address problems instead of faculty will receive a much better response from the student body. Also, having students identify and solve problems at our school will allow students to take ownership and invest themselves in our school. We also know that this process will be much smoother. It doesn't feel like our objectives are being forced on the student body. We want to start small and then work up the momentum of our ideas as the year goes on. Mainly, we want to communicate more effectively with our students, inform them of all our events, and through this, we hope to have an overwhelming amount of student participation.